The question is, why does it take so long to get out of and then to heal from narcissistic abuse? Why is the whole process so long, and why does it take such a long time to get it all out of your system? And the reality is there are at least 3 phases that you must go through in order to awaken in this life after narcissistic abuse. You can call it a spiritual awakening. You can call it your healing journey. There's at least 3 phases, whatever you want to call it, beginning with the first phase. The first phase is called introspection. The second phase after that is called validation. And then the third and final phase that you go through is transformation. Everybody say this with me. The 3 phases that you must go through to awaken and get the narcissistic abuse you've experienced out of your system are as follows. First, introspection. 2, validation. 3, transformation. I'm going to touch real briefly on each one. The first one being introspection. This is where you question yourself. Are you thinking of it the right way? Are you perceiving things correctly? Or are you just too sensitive? All right. What's interesting about the introspection phase is it's the longest. Many of you have entered the introspection phase the moment you got into the toxic relationship. This is how long you have been on your awakening journey. The moment you entered the toxic relationship, that's when your body was kicked into introspection. Many of you are still living in the introspection phase. All right. The second phase is validation. Validation comes when you no longer are looking introspectively, but you're now looking at the fact and the reality that something's wrong outside of yourself, and you're looking for validation. But validation is not just about validating. It's also about looking for permission. And we're going to talk a little bit more about the permission that you're looking for. Last but not least is transformation. This is the shortest phase, but it's a difficult hurdle. It's the highest jump, so to speak, because transformation is where you're willing to risk. You risk being the bad guy. You risk stepping out alone. You risk cutting everybody off. This is absolute complete transformation. This is you coming out of a cocoon, a brand new creature, if you dare to try. But this is where your freedom exists. Let's get into this. My name is Kevin. This is The Royal We. Before I do continue with this message, I want to let you know that I'm here to support you. Down in the description box, you'll find access for one-on-one appointments with me. I do take telephone calls and video calls through Zoom, FaceTime, and WhatsApp. So head on down to the description box below this video right now, especially those of you who are stuck in a phase of introspection. You're constantly questioning yourself in this toxic relationship you're in to make sure that you're just not being too sensitive. Or if you are in the validation phase where you're done looking at yourself as potentially being wrong, and now you're looking for validation, or you're looking for permission to do what you need to do. Or perhaps you're in the transformation phase. You're stuck right at that place where you need to take the biggest risk of your life. Wherever you're at, I'm here to help you through it. Head on down there, schedule some time with me. I'd love to talk with you. Also, I do have a coaching program. My coaching program is live and in person each and every day. Now, it's community-centered. This year, 2024, we're working out of a journal and a diary in a group setting, live just like this each and every day, where you can ask me questions, and I'm there with you. If you join this week, if you sign up for the Roe coaching program right now, I'm going to send you my handmade artwork. I designed this and made this. I will send it to you. It's a phone home screen for whatever phone you have. Android, iPhone, it doesn't matter. This is something you can wake up to and you can look at it, and it's going to remind you of who you are, and it's going to remind you of what your life is going to be in 2024, right? Of where you're going. So get down there, get my custom-made artwork on your phone. I'll see you in class, right? Now, let's get into this, beginning with the first phase. What are the 3 phases that you must go through in order to complete your awakening? Number 1, again, everybody say it with me, introspection, validation, and then last but not least, transformation. So let's look again at introspection. What most people don't realize about introspection, like I said, is that introspection begins the moment you enter into the toxic relationship. How so? How do I start my healing journey? The moment I'm in the toxic relationship, because the toxic relationship that you're in from the very get-go challenges your perception of yourself. This is what they do when they push down your boundaries. This is what they do when they're rushing into you to do things that you don't want to do. You immediately start to challenge yourself and question yourself. Well, is it okay to do this? Well, maybe I can do this. And sure, this isn't a problem. And this is what it looks like when someone's busting down your boundaries. Not only that, but from the very get-go, they're saying things that are making you uncomfortable. They're demeaning you and devaluing you, and then they'll turn around and say something like, you just can't take a joke, can you? You're just too sensitive. How many of you have heard that? What does this comment do? It throws your body into a place of introspection. Suddenly you're questioning who? That's right, yourself. Am I too sensitive? I never thought I was sensitive. I always thought I had a good sense of humor. I know I can take a joke. In fact, I'm a pretty funny person. People have told me I'm funny. Well, maybe I just never really realized what being funny really was. Blah, 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 blah. Introspect. This started the moment the toxic relationship began. Yeah. And as a result, you've been stuck in a toxic relationship with somebody abusing you, but keeping you trapped in a place of introspection, questioning yourself the entire time. This is by far the longest phase of healing from narcissistic abuse. This introspection is the longest phase of awakening. It's the longest phase of healing in your life. If you take into consideration that you went into introspection the moment you started the toxic relationship and you're still in it, 30 years in the same relationship, right? I'm going to share with you a little bit about where it gets to. And by the way, I was stuck in introspection for a long time in my own healing journey when I was dealing with the narcissistic people, the family members, the in-laws that I was dealing with. I was up against the same type of stuff. Kevin, maybe you're just too sensitive. You just can't take a joke. Like a part of me knew darn well they weren't joking around. Bullying and joking isn't the same thing. I think we're all aware of that, right? Being nasty and mean and vicious, but joking with somebody because everybody's laughing, two separate things, right? I kind of knew it, but at the same time, I was in introspection. Well, maybe I do need to loosen up a bit more. Hanging out with them for like 3 years in that place. Introspection. Stuck in introspection. All right. I got off the phone with a client not very long ago, and she said, Kevin, my narcissistic partner is getting me to look at our personality types as far as like avoidant and anxious personality type. And she told me that this narcissistic partner of hers is actually saying things like, our problem is that you're just avoidant and I'm an anxious personality type. That's all it is. You even have to be careful with this, because what does this do? Causes you to do what? Introspection. Yeah, maybe that is it. Maybe I'm just too avoidant. I don't speak my mind enough. Okay, I'm going to stay in this abusive relationship another year so I can learn how to speak my mind. Introspection. So as you can see, introspection is the longest phase of your healing journey. But make no mistake about it, it is a part of your healing journey, and you must go through introspection until you get to the end of the rope, the end of the line. And that's the place where you finally are able to say, nope, it's not me. Nope, I'm not too sensitive. Nope, I'm not. It's not that I can't take a joke. Nope, it's not because I'm an anxious avoidant or whatever the hell they're trying to say I am. None of this applies. It's because this person is a narcissistic douchebag and they're mean and brutal and we do not belong together. Right? It doesn't necessarily sound like that, but you get my point. You get to the end of your rope when you realize the problem isn't you and you're too sensitive. The problem is the relationship, because it's wrong. You're with somebody you should not be with. The Roe motto, narcissistic abuse, is always the result of being with somebody you have no business being with, doing things you have no business doing, going places you have no business going. And when you get to the end of the rope, so to speak, with introspection, that is the place where you reach. That's the place that you start to contemplate. I'm with somebody I shouldn't be with. doing things I shouldn't be doing, and going places I shouldn't be going. It goes against everything that I am. It's like we're not even the same creature. So then the next phase following that is going to be validation. You go into validation because you're looking for others to validate and resonate with this new conclusion that you've gotten to. The conclusion is what? That it's not that you're too sensitive. It's not that there's anything wrong with you. Now you're looking for validation to validate that. This is why you're here watching this video right now. Many of you are in the phase of validation, which is just one more phase of healing that you have to get through, by the way. So it's watching videos. It's looking for the answers. If the problem's not me, if it's not that I'm too sensitive, if it's not that I can't take a joke, if it's not that I'm too uppity up, then they must be the problem. But what is that problem? I need someone to validate that. And this is why you're watching the videos. This is why you reach out and you contact me and we have a one-on-one appointment. But there's a deeper thing behind validation that you need to be aware of. And it's actually inching you closer and closer to transformation. So we can really break validation into two separate things. Validation, so there's two things within validation, right? It's validating, as in looking for answers, looking for somebody to agree with you that you're not crazy, that you are in a toxic relationship, okay? But the next part of validation is permission. You're also looking for permission. You see, when I was dealing with the narcissistic abuse in California, I was going to the counselors and the preachers that I was working closely with, and I was looking for validation, for them to validate how I was experiencing that toxic relationship with those family members I was dealing with. I was also looking for permission. I was looking for somebody to tell me, Kevin, it's okay for you not to show up at those people's house anymore. Kevin, it's okay for you to say goodbye. Kevin, it's okay for you to say, I'm not going to that Christmas dinner. Kevin, it's okay for you not to talk to those people and cut them out of your life. Kevin, it's okay. I was looking for that as a part of validation. So validation is twofold. It's number one, looking for someone to help you to understand that you're not wrong, but it's also number two, looking for permission. So the problem in that, and what takes so long in this phase, is if you don't get that permission. Because many of you won't. I didn't. I didn't get that permission. When I was going for help to the counselors, to the preachers at church that I was really close with, and I was looking for them to understand the abuse I was enduring, the verbal, mental, emotional games that they were playing, I was also looking for those people to say, Kevin, it's okay. Leave these people. Stop messing around with them. Don't talk to them anymore. It's not good for you, right? But they didn't. I didn't get that permission. Instead, what I was hearing is, oh, Kevin, keep loving them. Keep loving them. Worse than that, they were attempting to throw me back into the introspective phase. Oh, Kevin, are you sure you're looking at it in the proper perspective? Oh, maybe, Kevin, maybe they just see things differently than you. Have you thought about what it might be like in their shoes? These are all questions that throw you back into introspection. Right? So you're not going to get permission the way you think unless you call and talk to me. I'll give you the permission. Schedule your appointment right now. I will downright give you your permission if that's what you're really looking for, but you don't need it. What I've discovered and what you're going to discover, and this is what leads into the transformation, is you don't need anybody's permission. God's not going to be mad at you. And who cares if your pastor's mad at you? Who cares if your minister's mad at you? Who cares if your daddy, mama, whoever? You're not living life for them. This life is the one shot you have to become the best version of you. So really, who the hell are you going to answer to? You don't need permission. You don't need my permission. You don't need your pastor's permission. So this is the part of validation that you need to understand so that it doesn't last longer than it needs to. When it comes to that part of looking for permission, it's okay to squash it. But now this gets into transformation. Are you ready? Transformation is the shortest phase that you're going to experience, but it is probably the most difficult. It's the highest hurdle to jump because transformation is when you're at the end of the validation rope where you're willing to say, I don't need permission. And suddenly It turns you into something. It awakens you to something that you didn't know you could do. I'm not saying it's a complete F you to everybody mentality, but it kind of is. It's kind of a, I don't need your permission. I don't need that permission. I don't need this minister or preacher to tell me what to do. I don't need that person to tell me what to do. I'm going to do it. This is when you become unrecognizable, and you risk that. You risk becoming unrecognizable to the people who once knew you, to the people who once took advantage of you, to the people who once thought they could tell you what to do. It's like you're now a caterpillar who has now climbed up a tree, and you cocooned, and the cocoon is now busting open, and there's wings coming out, and people are looking at it and going, what the hell is that? Son, that don't look like the caterpillar that climbed up there a minute ago. This darn thing has wings. What the? Hey, get it before, well, there it's gone. That's exactly what's taking place. You're kind of stepping away from everybody. This is a place where you risk going into isolation. For many of you, this is what it looks like when you're ready to pull that going divorce. It's time to go divorce. Even if I got to walk away from the home, from these people, from those people, and even if I got to stay in isolation, I don't care, because the outcome of that is better than the outcome of staying in the relationship. The outcome of being a caterpillar is over. You're ready for the outcome of being a butterfly, right? It takes a risk. And in this process, you might experience anger. You might even come across a little angry. You might be shutting certain people down, no longer talking to certain people. This is why it is the highest hurdle. Because you're experiencing things in a new way. Transformation's uncomfortable as you're thrashing about, going, oh my gosh, I'm not saying yes to everybody anymore. I'm not just being used anymore. Boom, there goes a wing busting out of the side of you. I've got my toxic family members calling saying, what's wrong? I'm staying away. Boom, there goes another wing busting out the other side of you. It is one of the more painful, if you will, transformations. But again, it's the shortest one. You see, you've already been through the introspection, which took decades of your life. You went through validation, watching videos, contacting me, and now you're going into transformation. The painful part of taking the risk to actually transform the way you see the world and how high you fly above it. These are the 3 phases you must go through in order to get all the narcissistic abuse out of your system. Everybody say it with me one last time. Introspection, validation, and transformation. Introspection, validation, transformation. My final question to you is, where are you at right now? And how can I help you through this phase? Head on down there, schedule that time with me. I'd love to talk with you. Just give me an hour. That's all it's going to take. And by the way, I do have the coaching program. Sign up this week and you will get your handmade custom artwork right there by me, the Royal We, home screen. I'll be back with more videos. If you are new to the Royal We channel, be sure to like this video, subscribe to this channel, and say hello to me. Leave a comment down below, and I'll be back. Before I'm back with more videos, check out one of these videos right here. The YouTube algorithm is recommending for you to watch. Therefore, I believe it's going to be a good video for you to watch. All right. I'll be back tomorrow with another video to help you on your healing journey. Bye, everybody.